welcome to Family We've Got Your Back. This episode we're talking about creating resilient children. It is a topic that many parents have asked me to talk about, so we're going to. I did quite a bit of research and I have a feeling it's going to be more than one episode.
Yeah, this is a hard one. I think because it's not just, one thing that you can work right now. Whatever it is, it has to work for years and years and years. So
yeah, I have a list of 10 things.
10?
Yeah, the experts say that these 10 things create resilient children, and I'm like, wow, that's too long for one episode.
That's
so
way too, yeah.
We'll probably talk about the second half of the list next week. But the definition of resilience is able to withstand or recover quickly from difficult conditions. I found that interesting. Quickly was in some form of quick. Rebounding was in all of the definitions that I looked up. Let's see. It says able to recoil or spring back into shape after bending, stretching, or being compressed. And that's interesting to me.
That is interesting
Stretched
to me as well.
Or compressed.
But so the first thing that came to my mind is what is you said quickly.
Yes.
What does that mean?
I know.
It's like quickly
is relative.
Completely relative.
Yeah. And then the another one was capable of withstanding shock without permanent deformation or rupture. Tending to recover from or adjust easily to misfortune or change. And then the 1800s dictionary, it was not talking about people, which I found interesting. It says rebounding or starting back.
Huh.
So it's like a restart.
Yeah,
you hit the restart button.
Uh-huh.
It's like once your momentum is broken, you're able to restart after your inertia is halted.
Yeah.
I find that interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, I don't have anything to say about that.
Excuse me. Pardon me.
But yeah, don't read the fortune. You're crying out loud.
I thought it was the fortune that I got today. So, anyway,
was there something that was appropriate?
So a couple weeks ago, I got a fortune that said, your job will change. It was an actual fortune, and it said something like your job will change in the near future. And then 2 days later, my responsibilities at work changed. That was not what I was thinking. I'm like, I'm starting a new business or something. No.
Nope.
My responsibilities changed, so it's a new job, but it's the same place. So anyway, I found that really interesting. And so then the fortune today was talking about resilience, and I'm like, no way.
Oh.
So that's why I was going to read it, but it says new challenges and adventures await. That's not the fortune. You are intelligent as you are good looking. Well, that could go both ways. You're ugly as a post and dumb as a fence.
If you're resilient, then you can look at that with an optimistic attitude. Right?
There you go. Anyway, so stupidness. Wrecked by misfortune.
But
it's okay. We'll keep on trucking.
Let me just say this, though. I have noticed it's quite obvious, because I teach 8th graders, right? They're not the most resilient group. They're so insecure with so many things.
Fragile.
And we have a wellness room at our school that is designed to give them a little bit of a break from the stressors that could be from friends or from academics or whatever it might be.
But they only get to stay 10 minutes.
But they only get to be 10 minutes.
It's not an hour and a half.
Right. And so it does need to be a quick bounce back.
Yes, it's a quick
Go
recovery.
down, de-escalate, get your mind, play with the fidget toys or whatever tools they've got in there to calm yourself down, and then get back into the same situation. And so you do have to be able to be resilient, and you have to be able to bounce back quickly. Mm-hmm.
Without permanent deformation.
Right. Ideally.
Your soul. so yeah.
Ideally without any deformation.
I thought that was funny.
That is
anyway.
funny.
But yeah, so how do we create resilient children who are able to withstand things? Because if there is one absolute truth on this earth, it is life is difficult.
Most of the time.
Most of the time, life is hard.
It's designed to stretch
designed
you.
to be hard. It will not become coasting
coasting
situation. It is the path of least resistance makes rivers and men crooked.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's hard, and we are beings that are able to grow from that. Like when you work out, your muscles actually rip and break down, and there is a rupture in there, but because of the way that they are designed, that rupture makes them stronger.
Right.
And so that is how you become stronger, is that resistance, that weight that tears you down in order to build you back up.
And it's the hard people that you associate with that
The hard people?
Yeah, like the people that are difficult to work with.
Oh, I see.
The people that are difficult to work for, or whatever the case may be, that allow you to have some introspection and maybe growth, right? That's where wisdom comes into play.
Yeah, you don't become strong by avoidance and no effort.
Yep.
You become weaker. You become less than.
Yeah.
I'm going to attribute it to the wrong author. I think it's Longfellow or Wadsworth or Hemingway or somebody. I should have looked it up. I'll look it up and mention it next week. But he said, all of us are broken. Some of us are strong in the broken places.
Oh.
So if you know the author, shoot me a message. But anyway, I think that's a beautiful thought.
It is.
That we are able to become strong in the broken places. So how do we do that? How do we become strong in the broken places? How do we build our character muscle? And so the research says that if you want to create a resilient child to become a resilient adult, because that's what we're trying to do, is raise our children into responsible adulthood who are able to successfully live their lives. How do we do that? And so the first thing is a connection with somebody important in their life. Hopefully it's a parent, and if it's not, hopefully it's some other adult that is wise and loving and kind, right? And that support system, whether it's one person or a whole family or teachers or neighbors or whatever, it's like if they don't have that, they feel isolated, and they're like, well, I can't do this by myself, and they give up. And they're like, it's too hard, I can't do it. So
and there's no one to offer the encouragement to boot.
Right. So if they have a support system or someone to go to where they do not feel alone in the world, they are that authority figure, that person in their life, that adult, because it has to be an adult. If it's a peer, then it's not the same. It does not create the resilience you need. It that offers the path of least resistance. So it needs to be an adult that has their best interest at heart, and because they can say, yeah, that is difficult. You can do it.
And I think
we've got this. We'll figure it out together. I've got your back.
I think older siblings could fit that bill.
They could, but it does need to be an adult. They do need to feel that they are cared for by someone in authority.
Yeah.
And so it needs to be an adult. And hopefully you are that for your child. And if you are not, we can work on becoming a support for your child, where they feel like they can come to you with their struggles. If your kids do not feel like they can come to you with their struggles, then figure out why, and figure out how to start creating moments where you are there for them. Or when the moments naturally happen, make sure you are there for them in a non-judgmental way.
Right.
Because our job isn't to judge our kids. Our job is to guide our kids.
Right.
Right? And
well, and there can be a judgment associated with that.
But it's not like a condemnation judgment.
It's a supporting judgment.
Yes.
Where you're considering what you can do to help and what you should do to help.
Right. And it's not, your job is not to take away the trouble. It is to help them figure out how to solve it. Or
just endure it.
Right.
Yeah.
Or get through it. Yes. So being there for your kids and creating a relationship where they feel like they can come to you is number one. In all the research, it was number one. The second one is when they are in the midst of struggle and their problems are all woe is me. If you help them see outside of themselves and be of service, of use to someone else that is struggling, they're like, oh, wow. It gives them perspective, and they're like, oh, yeah, I can handle this.
If this person can handle this, then I can,
and with a little bit of help, we can help each other through things, right? Yeah. And it just gives them a less selfish perspective and helps them get through their struggles.
As a side note, there's lots and lots of opportunities for service all around.
All over.
Just look next door. It could be, simple as something next door. Anywhere. There's organizations that can help you with that kind of a thing.
Or if it's the elderly lady on your block needs her weeds pulled.
Yeah.
Or her lawn thatched, or garden watered, or
her lawn thatched,
or her doorknob screws tightened. Whatever. Get them out of their head and into someone else's. Yeah, food pantries, food banks, homeless shelters, aren't just for Christmas.
No.
So it could be just local, someone you know, or a broad general thing, and have it actually be an act of service and not just donating money, where they are actually going out of themselves to lift someone else up. The third one is routine. If you have an established routine, it gives them normalcy. It gives them not non-chaotic expectations in that, they never know what's going to happen, and that creates stress and chaos in their lives. Whereas if they have, I'm not saying a strict routine, but something they can count on happening daily in their lives, weekly and monthly, it gives them a sort of comfort level that they can rely on things remaining constant, i.e., every day they're fed. I'm not saying it has to be at the same time every day, but they know every day they are fed.
Yep.
They have a place to sleep. And hopefully they have a bedtime.
Yeah.
We're strong proponents of bedtimes. So if your kid doesn't have a bedtime, give them a bedtime.
Even if they're teens.
Teens need sleep too.
Yeah, they do.
A routine to make sure that their needs are met.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you can be spontaneous. Yes, it doesn't have to be so strict that you never alter it. But especially kids with special needs.
Oh, man, yeah.
Kids need routine. Okay, so it's Monday, so I wake up, I shower, I get ready for school, I go to school, that sort of thing. The routine is... And so when
it's the easy way. Yes. It's the easy way that your body can know. Okay, this is a low energy thing because it's already routine. It's brainless.
And they don't have to think about it.
Don't have to think about it at all.
So the good thing about routines, though, is that when that it's steady in their lives, so that when you are away from that routine, when the routine is broken, it'll be like, oh, that's okay. I can handle this because tomorrow or next week or next month or whatever, life will go back to normal.
Right. There's some sense of
normalcy. There is a normal, right? It's not all, what's going to happen next, right?
Because, yeah, that could be a completely insurmountable.
Yes, insurmountable. They
That's
will
the right
be.
word.
They will always be in a state of
What's next?
fight
What's
or
next?
flight.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
next? I don't know what's going to happen next. They will always be in that constant source of stress if they do not have a routine where their daily needs are met. And like I said, it doesn't have to be the same time every day, but it does need to be where they know that they will be cared for. So yeah.
Maybe we should stop after the fourth one.
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
Well, the fifth, because the fifth is like the third. Anyway, so the fourth is take a break. If they are, like he was saying with the wellness room, if you are so overwhelmed, you're in flight or fight, you cannot function, take a minute to breathe.
Yeah.
And rethink, reframe your thoughts.
Put on some calming music or,
just
something.
take a breath. Breathing has been known to calm you in better than any other thing. So getting oxygen to your brain helps you think better, helps calm your emotions, because you are then all of a sudden able to think logically, and it's not such a disaster, and you can get back into the stressful situation.
One of the things that they did at the middle school just a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago or something like that, is they had, right after everybody got done with lunch, right? So 6th hour. At the beginning of 6th hour, there was a mental pause. So you went to 6th hour class, but at the beginning of that, they had the teachers lead an activity where there was just that. And there was a nice British lady or whatever, because British accents are so calming, apparently. And
for Americans, anyway.
And it was just breathe.
Yeah.
Let's take a moment. We're going to breathe. 1, 2, 3.
And you might find that silly.
And
you're kind of making fun of it.
I am kind of making it, but
breathing helps.
No,
and teach your kids when they are stressed out to take a breath.
And it did.
And it actually helps.
I don't actually have a 6 hours my prep, but reports came back from other teachers that it helped to get after lunch they're all full of stimulation,
yes.
right? And it really did help calm them down, and so they could get back to the topic of learning, whatever that was.
Exactly. And studies show that the wellness room is used most the 2 periods after lunch.
Yeah.
So yeah, just take a breath and you'll be okay. And so really quick, the 5th thing is self-care. And that's why it ties into the routine, is if they are not taking care of themselves, it is not routine for them, right? So if they are not brushing their teeth, and if they are not going to bed and getting enough sleep, if they're not eating properly, if they're not exercising enough, their routine needs to change.
Yeah.
So if you are not taking care of yourself, it is really almost impossible to be resilient, because you do not feel good. And when you do not feel good, you do not respond well.
Yeah.
So we will end there for tonight, or today, or whenever you're listening. And we will do the next 5 next week. So create a connection with your child, help them get out of themselves by being of service. Get a routine, take a breath, and take care of your physical needs in a way that helps you be healthy physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. Okay, thanks for tuning in to Family We've Got Your Back, and have a good night. Bye-bye.